Okay, tell me when you hit the button and then go to the other screen. And tell me when it starts. Okay, all right. We are live again. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody gets here soon. I'm going to paint in gouache again today. This you can see to the left of the screen my reference, and yeah, I just figured that I'm going to keep doing gouache because of the class that I'm doing coming in October. No, September. I'm sorry. It's September and October. It's a class, and I just found out that actually the class is going to be recorded. So if you can't make the live session, you can always go back and view it. It's going to be recorded. But there will be a live session. And it'll be online. So I'm going to continue doing gouache and work on this reference here. So I'm not going to go too much into the background because there's just not enough time for that. So let me go ahead and see how much of this am I going to get in here. So I'm just measuring. Had a kind of hectic time just trying to get all this together, so I'm a little bit frazzled. Let me see if I can't collect myself well enough to get this done. And by the way, the link for my class on gouache is down below. So if anybody's interested, it'll be there for you to check out the Penn Studio School of Art.
Well, hello everybody. This is Karen.
Yeah.
How you doing? And we're going to say hello to Kumar.
Kumar is back.
Yeah, Kumar's
Great.
with us. He said, "How are y'all?" And Maritza is with us too.
Oh,
she
cool.
says, "Hola."
Hola. Okay, it's a little too wide. It's not him, but that's okay. I'll figure this out as I go along. I don't even know if you can see my lines. Which now this reference is kind of funny because if you think about how everybody's like doing Loomis style heads, and he doesn't exactly fit into that. If you look at it, his eyes are there's a definite difference in his right eye as compared to his left eye. you know and I don't think that's just a distortion from the photo. I think that's just the person, because not everybody's like a perfect specimen or perfect Loomis head. And okay, also, if you want to know the paper that I'm working on, this is a little bit different. Let me see, it's a big pad, and I cut this down. It's called it's made by Utrecht, American Masters. It's American Masters printmaking. This is a printmaking white. This is a very large 18 by 24 pad, and I just cut things down to a manageable size.
Okay. Well, Kumar says he loved the merch. That's the merchandise.
Oh,
Guys, will it deliver in India? Will they deliver in India?
I have no idea. That's what's that? Spring Tees. They're the company who do the merch. So I just design it or just put my stuff on it or whatever, and they print it up on whatever. But I would have to find out. I don't know. Um, but I'm sure they would indicate it if they do not. So, yeah, I'm sure they would indicate it if they don't. I have to pay a lot of attention to what I'm doing, particularly since I was so frazzled by just getting this camera set up. I kept bumping into it, and it just kept uh, dislodging, or not dislodging, just getting all out of whack. So I had to keep readjusting it. So, but everything is up and working. I just hope I don't bump into it during the session. So anyway, I'm working on this reference. I'm hoping that you guys are working on it, either a drawing or painting or whatever. Pull up a seat. We'll be here for a little while. You know, just and I can spend a little bit more time today because unlike the previous days, there's no cooking today. I don't have to leave early and cook for the family, right?
Right.
We've already got enough food left over. One of the things that I try to do as far as measuring things is that there are little shapes like this in here, or big shapes, and I try to compare these shapes, like where the hand fits in here. You see a little bit of the arm showing there, so I try and let those shapes help me in the measurement and placement of different parts.
Well, Mr. Vic is with us. He says,
Hey,
hello, everyone.
hey, Mr. Vic, the gang's all here.
Mhm.
I'm gonna start painting soon because I have enough indicated here to begin.
Well, Mr. Vic says he's visiting his mother-in-law today.
Oh, okay.
Visiting mother-in-law today, yeah. And yesterday he took a virtual art tour of Rembrandt's work.
Uh-huh. So is this virtual art tour a specific museum, or is it just a collection online? Okay, so that's good enough to start. Let's see.
Okay, we have Tarhan. He says hello.
Hey,
Uh-huh.
okay. We're just getting started. Pull up a sketch pad and join us.
Okay. Well, Mr. Vic did answer you. He said it was a tour of his work that are based on the Bible.
Oh, okay. Okay. And it's always good stuff. Love Rembrandt. Okay, I'm not too concerned about the color yet. I'm going ahead and just staining the paper, getting it away from the white, and trying to add as much color as I can. Color is not necessarily accurate at this point. I'm gonna see how general I can leave this, not worrying about details so much as getting like a general indication of everything. Now I'm going to work on it, but I'm not gonna like leave it like this, but I'm going to see how non-specific I can leave certain areas, and I don't know if I can explain this well. How non-specific I can leave certain areas, but the 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 painting would definitely look like a specific person. I don't know if that explains it. There's an expression that we used to say in art class was that you don't have to dot every I, cross every T, and dot every I. To get your painting across. This is a very nice paper, by the way, for gouache. I haven't used it all that much, even though I've had it for years. And I definitely haven't used it for gouache, so this is a little bit of a surprise to me how it's behaving and working out here.
Well, we have someone for artifacts.
Uh-huh.
I like the way they did that. RT and then facts, artifacts.
Okay.
Okay. Well, he said hello, everyone.
Hey, how you doing? Pull up a seat, take out a pad, and draw with us. Yeah. This guy's got big forearms. I don't know if anybody else looking at this is going to look at this later on and say, you know what, his forearms are too big. Especially for an older looking man.
Okay, we have Latia Collins.
Hey.
She says, "Hi Gil, sorry I'm late to the party. I'm trying to learn to work with Gouache, so I'm so excited to view your tutorials. I
Oh,
love your work."
great, great. Thank you. Okay, and in case you missed it, um, because you just got here, I'm also having a class in the fall at the Penn School Studio of Art, where I'll be teaching gouache. The first two, it'll be a 4 week class on the Saturdays, and it'll be recorded as well. So if you missed the live session, you can always catch up to it. And one of the things about it also is that I'll be teaching gouache, but first I'm going to start the first week off with with drawing, because I really think that a lot of the problems that we have with painting stem from drawing first, and so I'm going to focus on that. I'm measuring on being accurate, and then I'm going to go right from there and work into gouache. But it'll be like I said, in the fall, starting in September, uh, and it'll run for, gosh, I think more than 4 weeks, because it'll start in September and end in October. Um, and like I said, the first part of it will be focused on drawing, and then the latter part of it will take that and then do some paintings in gouache, and particularly portrait paintings. So, but
Okay, well, Collins asked, where will these classes be held?
oh, okay, they will be at they'll be online. Um, they're coming from Pennsylvania. I don't live in Pennsylvania, but I'll be teaching the class online, and the link for the classes is below. I left the link for the Penn Studio School of Arts, and you can sign up for my class there.
Okay, well, Artifacts, I like that. Day's been rough. Guess I could say that about my art. Watching this will make my art look worse. Yes, that is a compliment.
Surely not. Surely not. Mm. Let's see here. Okay. Now, what I'm going to try and do, which I don't do enough of, is kind of simplify this, and instead of looking for details, I'm going to look for shapes. and try to unify the head based on that.
Okay, we have Kenya Smith says, super excited for the gouache class. I have such a hard time with it mixing, especially flesh tones. They always look muddy.
Okay. You know, one of the things people ask me a lot about when I start painting, they start coming up with things like color recipes, and I think when it comes to that, I try to say that, you know what, I don't really have color recipes. I try to keep it so, two things. I'm concerned about the value and the temperature of the color. And this is helpful when it comes to skin tones because that really organizes everything. What value something is, and also what temperature something is. It's either cool or it's either warm, cool or warm. So an example would be like red is obviously a warm color, blue is obviously a cool color. So you play with that and or mixtures of those. One of the things I do is I do like I take an ultramarine blue and I don't use alizarin crimson, but I use something close like quinachrome red, and because alizarin crimson is what you call a fugitive color. That means that over a period of time, with exposure to light, it'll start to fade. So if you use certain colors in your painting, over time they'll begin to fade. You see this with a lot of old illustrations sometimes, where they use particular colors that are fugitive, like the alizarin, and even though at one point the color was bright and you can see it, it begins to fade over time, and the painting begins to change. So that's the reason why I don't use alizarin. But I'll use like the quatachrome red and ultramarine blue with a little white, and I play with it. You know, if I use more red, then the color is warmer. If I use more blue, then the color is cooler. And sometimes that works. It just depends on what you're viewing. Like I did a little bit of that in here, you know, just playing around with the blue and the red mixture, and and you know, I'll use that from time to time if it works with the particular reference or live model that I see. If I see it in the picture, for instance, let me see. Some of these areas look a little bit bluer to me, and I tell you, so like right here, I don't know if you can really see that in the video, but I'm adding more of a blue to my mixture, and it might be a little stroke here and there, and it might not make a difference when you're viewing it online, but if you were to see the painting, then you would definitely pick up on, you know, what spots are a little, you know, those little subtle shifts.
What Kenya wants to know, do you take your own reference photos?
Yes, I do. I take a lot, as my wife can attest, right?
Yes, he sure does.
Because I take reference. I use my children. I use my wife. Uh, um, I use whoever's available. When I was a student, my mom posed for me a lot of times, and my sister, my brother, you know, whoever's available to allow me to paint their portrait in the practice. Uh, you know, that's what I do. I also, from time to time, some of these references that I use here online, I purchased them from a site called PostSpace. It's a site where that they have for artist models. Not really a lot of portraits, although they're high resolution, so you can zoom into them and use some of them as portraits. Which I do, but for the most part, they're figure drawing models, and sometimes I would use reference from there. I had asked them if that was permissible. They said, of course. So I use it for my live streams occasionally. Actually, quite a bit. But I'll take my own photo reference. I'll use my camera. I use my iPhone. You know, whatever's available for me to take the reference with. I always feel better when I use my own reference. There's more of a sense of ownership.
Okay. Well, Colin says she's post twice. If you and your lovely wife oh, thank you. If you and your lovely wife would like to teach from California, you guys are welcome here. Or for purely selfish reasons to learn from you in person, laugh out loud. And she also asks, how do you know which colors have the tendency to fade over time? When she bought her gouache, there was no information from the maker stating anything about light fastness.
Right. It really depends on the manufacturer. They do, like in certain brands like Winsor & Newton, Holbein. There are quite a few brands that they will mention it on the tube of paint. Sometimes it takes a little bit of research. Sometimes, like I go and purchase paints from like Blick online, Blick art stores, and they'll let you know if the particular color is light fast. A good thing to do is to kind of stay away from student grade paints. You want and I know it's kind of hard to differentiate because it's like everybody says their paints are great quality, but there's obviously a difference. There's student grade paints are not good. They have a lot of other fillers in there. So where you get something like the brands I like to use are Holbein, Winsor & Newton, Turner, Designer Gouache. Those are really good brands. And there are others. I don't know off the top of my head every single one, but there are others who make really good paints. Those three come to mind because those are the ones that I've used the most. But okay, I'm starting to lose it here. Hard for me to talk and paint at the same time.
Okay. Well, or Morgan Studios said, wow, post what? I think you were talking about the reference photos. I think he's commenting.
Oh, PostSpace.
Oh, the site for photos.
Right, postspace.com. Okay, I'm starting to lose it a little bit in here.
Yeah. Okay, he said he got it. Thanks.
Okay, you're more than welcome.
Morgan. It says subscribing now.
Oh, okay, great. Okay. Jeez.
Kenya says this almost looks like markers at this stage.
Oh, okay. You know, I can't say I haven't used markers. I have. It's been years. Years. Used to use when I used them, they had I don't even know if they're still around. Designer markers. I know they have all these fancy ones now, like the Copic markers and so forth. I didn't have those. See, there's several times where I kind of lost this image, and what I try to do when that happens is just pull everything together. You know, try to make things go into each other and kind of like uh, work as one unit. You know, and then I can go back and find the bigger shapes in here. Like within this big shape, there's smaller shapes.
Okay, well, Omogen chimes in again. I don't quite understand the question. You use gesso, right?
Gesso.
Gesso? Oh, okay.
No, I don't use gesso in with gouache. I don't use gesso. The closest I'd come to using gesso, not using gesso at all, but like sometimes I would set put a tone down in casein instead of gouache. Casein is a paint that's very similar to gouache, but unlike gouache, casein dries. You know, casein dries and you can't re-wet it. Once it dries, like oil paints, that's it.
So, did you answer the question? Does gouache require gesso?
No, gesso. You said.
Gesso. I mean
Yeah.
gesso. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So one of the things also, say there's a lot I need to do with that head. Obviously, I'm not far from finished, but if there's a part of the painting that perplexes you, say you're having a difficult part, then you know what? There's always a lot more to paint, and you can come back to that. You know, it's a good idea to just keep on painting, like, you know, just going to another area and continue with the painting, because it leaves you from being stifled and you know, perplexed. That sometimes the answers will come to you um, as you continue to work in other areas that, you know, so don't get bogged down by one area.
Okay. Well, Maritza wants to know, once the gouache is finished, what products do you recommend to protect the work?
You know what? I don't use. Only one time did I tried using a kind of a varnish, because they do make varnish for gouache. But I don't worry about it so much. I mean, you don't, the watercolor has that same thing where there's not really anything you can do to protect watercolor, right? Like, you can varnish it, but varnish, a lot of times a varnish would change the color, so after you're done painting, and you varnish it, it might not look the same, you know. So I don't usually usually use a varnish. Um, Maybe if it's a particularly big painting, and I'm concerned, I'll probably do that. Um, but I don't, I just once you're done with it, I would just, you know, if it's something that you're particularly proud of and that you want to keep, by all means, frame it, put it under glass, and so that you make sure that you protect it that way. But a lot of times the varnish, you can use a varnish for gouache, and I have done it, and it's not too bad, but it can also, you run the risk of it also changing your painting. So, if you ask me, I don't really recommend a varnish. Um, like I said, unless you did a particularly large painting, and you say, okay, maybe I need to varnish this to protect it. I can see, you know, and you know what, a lot of gouaches don't really run that big. It's really like kind of a size like this is ideal for gouache. But I have worked bigger. I have worked bigger. So it's possible you can do it, of course, but it works for me. It seems to work best when it's about this size.
Okay, well, Kenya wants to know, are there do's and don'ts to mixing colors?
Um, that's a very uh, it's a good question. Um, but it's a very broad question. It just depends on what you want to do. If you want to paint realistically, then there are some rules that you have to follow. Um, and so, yeah, you know, um, but mostly those rules don't really involve color so much as they involve what's called value. Value is the lightness and the darkness of a color. So if you watch your values, no matter what color you paint, it'll look right. So values is actually, and there are people who argue that this is not the case. But if you would ask me, I would say that value is more important than color, because if you watch your values, it almost doesn't matter what color you paint something. you know so and like I said, when I started out, um, to me the important things are the color, temperature, and the values. If I get those right, then and of course the drawing, then I tend to walk away with a good painting.
Okay, well, Ken Jones is with us now.
Okay.
He said he missed the beginning. What is the paper you are using?
Okay, the paper I'm using, it's called, it's made by Utrecht, and I guess a Blick board out Utrecht. So you can pick this up at Blick Art Supplies. It's American Masters Printmaking, and the reason I don't pull it up is because it's a large pad. It's 18 by 24, and I had cut this down from that pad. Okay.
Okay, well, Maritza says, understood, thank you. Yeah, she was asking you,
Yeah.
when it's finished, when the gouache is finished, what products do you recommend? So.
Okay.
I'm looking at how detailed you are, especially with the model's face.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
trying to concentrate on it. I can guess because I'm trying to pull it all together. I don't feel like it's there, you know. Um, and so I'm giving a lot of attention to the face right now.
Okay, well, we have someone new, I think.
Okay.
Comics and stuff.
Comics and stuff.
Yeah, that's yeah,
I love
the
comics.
username. And it says, I'm interested in your gouache class.
Oh, great, great. Well, the link is below. So by all means, check out the link. And it will be starting in October. I mean, I keep saying October. It'll be starting in September. And it will also be recorded. So for those who missed the live session, you can catch up to the recorded session. Okay. So where are we in time? 4:09. Okay. Well, I think I bit off a little bit more than I can chew here in terms of the complexity of the thing. You know, because obviously I haven't been able to get to the arms. But it's fun playing with the paint.
Mhm. Okay, well, comics and stuff replied, he said, outstanding and thanks. If I don't have the materials needed for your class, I'm mostly a digital colorist. May I still attend the class?
Of
I'll
course.
still be interested in it.
Of course. I also work digital, so I understand. I understand getting the materials too. Uh, it's so much easier to I mean with digital in terms of everything you need is on the computer, but I've worked digital, uh, but yeah, I think do the best you can as far as getting the materials for the class. I wrote a list of materials that I was going to use in class on the class site, you know, so that everybody would be able to have what they need.
Okay. Well, he says I'll be using Rebel 4
I love Rebel.
and Corel Painter.
Okay, I used to have Corel. I haven't used it in many years, but mostly because I love Rebel.
Okay. He said, okay at getting materials too. He said he loves Rebel too.
That's a great program.
He said now he'll shut up and just watch. Ha ha. Surely not. Surely
Nah,
not. We
don't.
love your comments.
Yeah, listen. I appreciate the comments.
Yes, everyone's.
I appreciate the comments. It's I have to focus so much on this. Sometimes it'll help me to recognize that there are viewers out there. So I welcome the comments. Jesus.
Okay. Well, comments and stuff said thanks. I'm a big fan and follow you on Facebook as well.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm just taking water and moving the paint around.
Melissa has joined us. This
Oh.
is Gouache.
Yes, it is.
Okay, what she says, beautiful.
Thank you. Okay. So, if you've hung out this long, I'm thinking that you probably like this live stream. So, if you did, just as a great favor to us, and it'll help build up our presence on YouTube, just if you can, just hit like. Also, if share the video with your friends. Let them see what you've been looking at, and just spread the love. Just let people know we're here. We definitely appreciate it. So, we're coming to the end of this stream. So I just on hindsight, I think I bit off more than I can chew to try and finish something like this on here. Although I'm enjoying doing this, but as far as the live stream is concerned, I'm far from over with this, with this painting. But yeah, I think maybe next time to try and tackle something that I can get done with in the time that we have here. There's just so much to work on when it comes to this, because but what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to work on this, and then when we join back next week, I'll just share with you the final thing. And then also next week, I'll definitely do something that I can finish within the time we have here, rather than there's so many things happening in his face, and then there's so many decisions to make as far as how do I simplify all of that. How do I get it down so that it's not, it reads well, like just one, like it reads as the man's face. So, and and then there's things to do. There's as far as defining all of this here, there's a lot to do, but it's a start. It's a start. The problem with me in starts is hard for me to put down the brush, because I want to solve this problem. But in all honesty, it's not going to be solved right now because there's just too much to do. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to work on this, and then next week you guys will be able to see the results of it. But geez, there's so much to work on in this. I feel
Well, I know it's a lot, you said, to work on at one time, but I just wanted to give one last comment, and that was from Maritza. She said, thanks. You and your wife are very kind to do this live. A hug with love and affection from Colombia.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
And Melissa says, I'll definitely be back next week. Love your videos.
Okay. Well, okay, so we're going to sign off. Thank you for joining us. And I hope you guys had a great time. I hope you guys were able to draw or paint along. and we'll be back next week. If you can, share your video. I mean, share your video. Share your painting or your drawing online. If you're on Facebook or you're on Instagram, and hashtag Gil Robles, live stream or something. Gil Robles. That's my that is my YouTube channel. That's of course me. So see you guys next week. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Bye bye.